mission in the morning is to run wide-eyed towards the sun. And I can't explain why I feel this way. It's an urge I'm afraid can't be undone.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Every.Thing.After podcast. We're here today and we're going to watch the Superman trailer from James Gunn, DCU movie coming out in, I believe, July. Is that correct? July 5th?
July 11th.
July 11th, okay.
3 days after my birthday.
Oh,
I'm
what a birthday
super
present.
excited about that.
Yeah, that's a great birthday present.
Yeah.
So we're going to watch that, and then we're going to talk about it afterwards. I'm sure we have a lot to talk about, and there's some interesting little things here and there I've seen strewn out through the trailer that we can bring up and chat about. So we're going to get started with that right now and watch it. Here we go. You ready?
Yep, let's go.
Here we go.
Are you being serious right now?
Yeah,
You'd let me interview you as Superman.
sure.
Ready?
Let's do it, Cronkite.
Superman.
Miss Lane.
Recently, you've come under a lot of fire for
I
what
know,
some
it's a
might.
lot of
it's
fire,
it's
but-
a lot. Today, the Secretary of Defense said he was going to look into your actions. That's funny.
My actions? I stopped a war.
Maybe.
Not maybe. I did.
In effect, you illegally entered a country.
This is how you're gonna be?
I'm not the one being interviewed, Superman. Did you consult with the president?
No.
You seemingly acting as a representative of
I
the
wasn't
United States
representing
will cause
anybody
more
except for me.
problems around the world.
And doing good.
I would question myself in the same situation and consider the consequences.
People were going to die. Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Your choices, your actions. That's what makes you who you are.
Superman. He's not a man. He's an it. He's somehow become the focal point of the entire world's conversation. I will not accept that.
I cleaned your boots. I'll go get them for you.
You have a dog?
So there we go. The trailer's over. What did you think?
Wow. Like I said, we've talked about this a couple times. I've watched it maybe 6 times at least since it came out yesterday. This came out yesterday. We're talking the day after. And every time I watch it, chill bumps. Just literal chills. Tingles. It's just so good. I'm so excited about it. You might say super excited about it. What about you, G?
Yeah, I think super excited is a good term. It looks very comic book like, which I'm excited about because a lot of times they try to make Superman into just a regular movie. I think that leaves out a lot of the flavor. I'm excited about Crypto being in it. I know a lot of people have been down on that, but I think that's fun. I think that brings a comic book feeling to it that Superman hasn't had before. So I'm excited about
I'm
that
just,
too.
just so excited about Crypto.
Mhm.
I'm a dog guy anyway. I love my dogs, and Crypto so far is maybe my favorite thing about it. There's a lot to compete against, though. There's a lot of favorite things about it, but Crypto's right up there. I'm really excited about Crypto being a part of it. I think that the animation on Crypto, I think the design of Crypto is just perfect. It's just the right amount of cute, uh, you know, and I mean, you can't train a dog to do what Crypto's doing, so you got to employ some CGI for that. But it looks believable. It looks real, and I'm there for it all the way.
Yeah, he threw a punch, it looks like, at one point in the video, so that was pretty
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
But yeah, the trailer itself has quite a few little things hidden in it that I haven't heard a few people talk about. Like, we're watching the trailer. Do you know anything about Metamorpho?
I can't say I'm not really familiar with that character now.
I'm not. This isn't really spoilers. He's a well-known character at this point. You can look this up on Wikipedia. So I don't know what's going on in the movie, but he can transmutate into different matter source, like different states of matter.
Uh-huh.
So like he could make himself into a gas, like like different types of gas. Like I guess cyanide gas or whatever it is, and then he can turn into like steel or whatever. But if you can see his hand there, left hand, he is glowing green. So it appears that someone
Yeah.
has taught him how to make kryptonite.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's a good observation.
yeah,
Hmm.
so Metamorpho, and the guy that plays Metamorpho, but he played Mr. Zaz in Gotham, and he also played the Weather Wizard, I think, on The Flash.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he's played 2 other DC characters already in different shows, which is really cool. So this is, I think, his 3rd go around in the DCU.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one thing that I wanted to talk about immediately, is that I've seen this and nobody seems to have noticed it. Is that
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, Metamorpho is pretty much keeping Superman in this little cube thing. I don't know who this little lady is over here on the right here in the pink.
Right.
That one's kind of interesting. Let's see. Let's start at the very beginning, though. We got
Yeah.
opening shots of Lois and Clark hanging out in, I guess, one of their apartments, or maybe the Daily Planet. I don't know. I can't really tell. Looks like a house, right?
It looks like an apartment. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're sitting
It looks
here.
like it's probably Lois's place.
Mm-hmm.
See the books and everything. She's pretty established in this residence. I would imagine Clark is still a fairly recent transplant to Metropolis, so he's probably not established himself. He probably doesn't have quite the setup in his digs yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I just love Rachel Brosnahan in this role. She gives me such Margot Kidder vibes. Of course, who played Lois Lane in the Christopher Reeves trilogy.
No, she's definitely very Margot Kidder-esque in this. I mean, just from the clothes she's wearing reminds me of something that like you would see Margot Kidder in those movies. She's just got a very like happening vibe as far as whose apartment it is. She's sitting cross-legged on the couch, and Clark is sitting very nicely in a chair. So I feel like this is definitely Lois's place. And I kind of wonder if she does know Clark is Superman here, or whether he's just pretending to be Superman because to be, I don't know, kind of cheeky, I guess. With her, like, I'm still curious as to not whether or not she knows for sure he is actually Superman here. I think we'll find out later.
She definitely knows.
You think so?
think she definitely knows. They're playing coy with each other.
It looks like they probably do know who each other is, because like there's a scene here, even though I guess they are in maybe a different apartment. It looks like maybe. But this is still kind of curious to me. I have no idea what this is, this glowing sky cloud thingy.
I thought I saw somebody theorize that it might have something to do with Brainiac.
Yeah, the cube prison thing looks Brainiac-esque. So Lex could be dealing with a rudimentary, what he thinks is some sort of a rudimentary AI that's actually some sort of Brainiac, extension maybe. This looks like, to me, without spoilers again, it looks like they're trying to build the roster of the Justice League International, which is a late 80s, early 90s Justice League run, which was more fun than serious and like epic or whatever, and it had like characters like Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl and Plastic Man and Shazam and Batman. He was still in it, of course. He's always in it. So it was a more eclectic group of heroes, like Blue Beetle and Booster Gold, people that were, it was a more lighthearted thing, and I thought it was really cool. So like it'd be fun to see it kind of like play out here. So Hal Jordan and
Yeah.
John Stewart weren't the Green Lanterns of that Justice League. It was Guy Gardner. So this makes me think it's somewhere in like maybe not the beginning of Superman's career or not the end, but like somewhere towards like maybe year 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Instead of year 1 or 2. So yeah, it seems like Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl and Mr. Terrific are all together and not necessarily with him at points. Like Guy Gardner in one scene in this trailer. Let me find it here. It's on the battlefield where it looks like that war is happening. You can see it's like, oh, I'll stop the war, and this like these are the same colored tanks and vehicles, and Guy Gardner's coming here like he's almost like I gotta waste my time with this, and he's flipping people with his hand and stuff. So it's almost like he's coming in after the fact and cleaning stuff up. It looks like maybe.
Yeah.
So like maybe they've had to come in and clean up after Superman because he tried to help and something happened. Like so the quote unquote sponsored heroes had to come in and take over for the unsponsored hero. That's what it seems like to me. I don't know if that's the exact thing that's happening, but it seems like the kind of vibe that they're going for right now. Like, I'm sure they'll all join forces at the end and fight against the common cause.
Yeah.
But at least to set up the story, it looks like they're not quite on the same page.
Yeah, I can't get over Nathan Fillion with blonde hair, with that blonde bowl cut looking hair. It's just so odd to me.
Yeah, Guy Gardner's always had a weird bowl cut, so that's kind of fun.
He's just odd looking, and he looks kind of perturbed. He looks kind of annoyed, just put out by having to do his hero stuff in this movie, at least in the clips we've seen of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like in the other trailer that came out before this, he's perhaps protecting Superman from the angry crowd. He puts up a green barrier over the window.
Yeah.
Like he's coming to like it almost looks like Superman's come to them after the fact for some reason, and like this is kind of like the why don't you come with us pep talk, instead of like doing the stuff on your own, like work with us. It seems like that's kind of like the vibe that I got from that small brief little scene there. So yeah, the interesting other heroes involvement, and like I said, there's at least 3 set pieces of fighting, because this guy right here, without me saying anything about who he is the guy who did who smashed his face into the ground.
Right.
Like, so that's the same person, and it's also the guy that spear tackles him on the football field. So I would also imagine he's the guy who uppercuts him into the sky, and Crypto rescues him in the other trailer. I don't know that for sure, but I'm guessing. And I don't want to say who it is because I know who it is, and I don't want to spoil it. The guy on his right here in the actor Frank Grillo, he's playing Rick Flag Sr. So he's in Creature Commandos, and this is the same character. So if you've seen the animated Creature Commandos, this is the same actual voice actor and the same actor. So,
okay.
Yeah, so if you want to catch up on that early before Superman comes out, everybody, it's not too bad. It's all right. It's fun. David Harbour's in it.
And that actor's also in Marvel. He was in a Hydra agent, right?
Well, technically he's a Hydra agent. He's a bigger character than that in the comics. His name is Crossbones in the comics. He's the Captain America enemy that has like the luchador mask, sort of. Like, I guarantee you've seen him. So yeah, he's a big character in Marvel Comics, but he just kind of got tossed aside in the MCU. But yeah, that's the same person. He was in the elevator fight scene with Captain America.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And the woman on the left-hand side of Superman is another character who we see later in the trailer do a little bit of shape-shifting, and I know who that is as well, but I won't spoil that. Let's see. It's the person that Crypto punches in the face.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's the person who has these saw blade hands. And then this person, the person in the big iron suit, I'm not sure if that's a robot or a person in a suit.
Yeah, it looks like somebody in a suit to me.
Yeah, probably.
Almost like a Hulkbuster kind of suit, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's apparently made up for the movie character.
Right.
And I won't spoil who that is in case people don't know. But so like the set pieces, it looks like Superman fights this guy, Superman fights the kaiju, and Superman fights the robot guy. So like those look like three major set pieces, and I'm sure there. And then of course there's the culmination of the glowing sky cloud thing. So there's at least 4 big action sequences that I can see here in the trailer, just involving Superman. And I'm sure there's more that, because there's the war scene. So there's another one. And then it looks like there's a big fight somewhere with Mr. Terrific and the other Justice Leaguers. Do you know who Mr. Terrific is? Have you ever seen him before?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's an interesting character, so that'll be cool to see him. He's usually in the Justice Society of America. He's usually with the older characters, but, I'll take him in the Justice League. That's fine. Some interesting stuff that's going on in this trailer and I know it's going to be like a 3-hour-long movie probably, so there's so much more to actually discover that's not in here.
The other thing that we've talked about before with the other trailers, and then it's very true in this one too, is that there's just so much vulnerability in Superman, which is really an interesting choice. I think it's a great choice.
Well, they started out both trailers, one with him literally getting percutted from who knows where and bleeding from the mouth and having to be dragged off by his pet. And then the second one, he starts out, he's in his regular clothes in a vulnerable position getting interviewed. Yeah, so like they're both vulnerable positions, just of different sorts. So like they've started out both trailers like, hey man, this guy's not going to just like save the world by flicking somebody away. There's other things that are involved. So I think that's a good take for Superman, because it's hard to tell a story with somebody who can do everything. But if you can make it like relatable, where he's actually frustrated because like, things get in the way. Everybody has things get in the way, so like everybody can relate to that. So I think that's a great way to tell a Superman story, and I hope it really works. Like I really do. It looks very, very promising, so I'm expecting it to work.
Right.
The scene where he's like going super fast to catch the debris from hitting the girl. That's a way to show like he as strong as he is, he can't save everybody, or he's still got a limited scope because of he's one man. He can save one kid, but maybe other people died. I think that's a really good way to do it. And maybe there's stuff like this too, where Superman can't do stuff, but maybe there's stuff Clark Kent can do because of his job.
Right.
That you can't punch through the truth or lies, but you can shine light on them. So maybe I think there's going to be some of that in there too. Back to the Superman trailer. There's a still here of the supposed war scene, I guess.
Yeah.
The war that he stopped, and if you look at this still, you can see definitely the dichotomy of why Superman got involved. It wasn't two warring states going at it. It looks like it's a warring state going against refugees, because on one side you have tanks and APVs and all that kind of stuff, and the other side you have old cars.
That's a good point.
And it looks, based on the body language of the people, of the refugees, quote unquote, they're not there to fight either. They're running away, and they look like they've been surprised. So this looks like some sort of an ambush. This is exactly what Superman would get involved with.
Right.
And to do so like this, he, again, going back to the thing where he's one man. If this went south and they started shooting, he wouldn't be able to save all these people.
Right.
Unless he stopped pulling his punches, maybe, and Homelandered all the all the army guys. But I don't think he's going to do that. So he would have a problem with this, and maybe that's why people are mad. Maybe he didn't save enough people. Maybe this is even a corporate war. Yeah, maybe this is a corporation that's got a military or something. I don't know yet, because they look pretty clean. They don't really look like camo or anything. They look, they're black. They kind of like, like a corporate army, possibly. I don't know. Like, that's just a guess on my part. But whatever it is, the people that they're facing do not seem prepared or capable of defending themselves. Say this is him fighting the kaiju, where he gets blasted by like a big flame breath or something. And he says, hey, buddy, eyes up here, and then flies up in the air. So I feel like he's trying to like get the guy to look up, or the monster to look up.
Yeah, that's a great line, too.
It's a little bit cocky, too, which I like out of a Superman.
Cocky,
it's not insanely narcissistic or anything like that, but he knows who he is and what he can deal with. So he's like, hey, man, here you go. Check this out. So I kind of like that kind of an attitude out of a Superman. So one of my favorite lines in a Superman movie was when he lost his powers and that guy messed with him in the diner, and he came back later with his powers, and he messed with that guy. And he's like, that's weird. I've never seen garbage eat garbage before.
Yes.
It's one of my favorite Superman lines ever.
And David Cornsweet here, I think it's perfect. I think he's just perfect in this role. He looks like a young Chris Reeves. Youth and energy and humor personality and character, bringing all that to Superman again.
Well, Chris Reeves brought up the point that Superman is all powerful. What he is really is a friend.
Right.
Yes, he has to be people's friend more than anything. I feel like David Cornswet really fits that vibe. Yeah, he's not
Right.
like Henry Cavill. While cool, and I'm sure like is a good dude and everything, he just seemed more menacing. And I guess it's because of the internal struggle we spoke of earlier. That he seemed more menacing and more scary or whatever. And Superman should be like, if disasters happen, a kid should smile when they see him come to help. It shouldn't be like, oh shit, like. So they should be overwhelmed by his positivity, even in the face of a disaster. And I feel like this guy fits that vibe.
And it's so good to see color and light in a Superman movie, and not darkness and shadow.
Yeah, and gray and like.
His suit is bright, and I like that. He's got the shorts.
This feels like Superman. Oh, that's the thing. Superman should take place 100% in bright colors, and Batman should always take place in dark colors. Like that, just that's their character. You've got to see Superman. You got to see that bright blue. You got to see that bright red and the yellow. His blue eyes and his black hair. Like, there's just things you have to see to feel like it's Superman. And I feel like this is already right there for me. I think this is going to be the home run we've been waiting for all this time. Not that the other movies are bad, but I feel like this is the Spider-Man Homecoming for Superman.
It
where
is.
We finally
it is
get a
in
good
lot of ways.
Superman movie.